Hello, it is I, your friend Gabe LT. This is my great new friend, but feels like an old friend, Shanth Enjeti. I hope to God my microphone is on. You don't know how many times I've come on here and boomered it, but this is double impact, and we are so excited to talk about like 80s and 90s action, all this stuff that we love. And we got to give props to my daughter, Minnie. I do that other show with her, father-daughter dance. We do that once a week where we do some comedy. And she put that intro together for me last night, and I'm paying
Respect.
the kid. Yes. So that was a lot of fun. How are you doing today, Shanth?
I'm doing great, man. I am so Van Damme excited. You have no idea.
Yeah, we're both dads. We're filled with dad jokes. How long have you been had that one chambered? You know,
That's just there.
Oh, okay.
You know, I mean, it's just always right on the periphery, man. You know, it's just the funniest thing in the world. You got to imagine. I don't know what people made of the social political aspects of your exit from DC Comics. What did this mean for Comicsgate? What did this do? The only thing I said was, is that Van Damme behind him? That was the only thing I noticed.
And a lot of people say, you know, a lot of people I see him in the chat, they'll say, oh, that's when he was in Breakin'. Wrong. Yeah. That's when he was in Kickboxer.
It's right. He was when he was in Kickboxer, and it was when you know, they took him out to the place so that he could you know, hit on all the ladies and people would try to kill him. Maybe a little bribe, right?
Yeah, and then he got his master got him drunk on purpose so he would beat up some of Freddie Lee's guys to prove to Freddie Lee he belonged in that fight against Tong Po.
Yep.
So come on.
By the end of the night, we're gonna have some glue on our fists, put them into some broken glass, and just see where this goes. It's gonna be great.
Oh, Leg Kick One says with the headband you need to bow, sir. Maybe we should bow to each other, Sean.
That's absolutely right. Like, which way do I go? Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah. Do we say something? We bow? Just like greetings?
We just do it. Yep.
Okay. We
respect.
Just okay. That's respect. Okay. Turned on my TV just in time. Glad YouTube had your link on the home screen. Oh, Texas Mofo. Thank you so much. And that was Leg Kick that insisted that we bow. So thank you.
I think Leg Kick is spot on.
Yo, Jared Weaver, I sold you that drawing of Cecil and gave you that limited edition Star Wars Alex Ross sketch cover as a secret prize. Yeah, Zayd Comics is here. Zayd, that's the Lost Pages with the Diaz brothers. Fantastic. But where were we? What were you talking? We were talking about dipping our hands in glass. You know,
that's right. We were talking about the picture behind you that is often mistaken for that early appearance in Breakin', when in reality it is the sequence in Kickboxer where in drunken Jean-Claude Van Damme still schools a bunch of fools.
Right. You know, in my comic Beef Law, which is based on, it's my love letter to 80s and 90s martial arts action. Also, I'll show some art from that later. The trainer for the main fighter, Maximilian Volkov, our main character, his trainer wears this outfit, the Van Damme. Now, it's not just a tank top. Let me give myself full screen here. If you look really close, it has like buckles on the tank top where you could, I guess, unsnap it to reveal your powerful pecs to your lady friend. If you get, you know,
that's exactly right.
Things, you know, when things get amorous for JCVD, he pops them open.
They gotta feel like they're just on the verge of a ticket to the gun show. That is just, let me slip into something utterly uncomfortable, but that will get the job done.
Right. Yeah. Someone wants to see. This is my second super chat ever.
We got one. That's what we're here to do.
Thank you, Jared Weaver, for $4.99. That is so generous of you. I love it. The super chat works. Great to see another live show. Yes, the pack was awesome. Looking forward to funding your comics. Let me throw that up there.
Right.
My super chats have been on for like a week, and I didn't know I had to go into like a sub menu and agree to something. They also sent me an email saying I could have channel memberships. Would anyone be interested in that? I guess there'd be perks and direct chat and something like that. So yeah, I think I'm going to work on that. So
excellent.
But, this YouTube thing, man, it's so fun to connect with fans and share our love for these things that inspired us so much. And that's what I wanted to get to first. I know we were just making small chat, Sean, but we were talking before we went on the air about Van Damme. You know, we're going to talk about all kinds of guys and all kinds of stuff, but let's talk about Van Damme because he's kind of the center of this for me, at least. What was that first Van Damme movie that hooked you? When did you fall in love with him? You know?
Well, there was that one trip to Brussels, but outside of that, I was over at a buddy's house and, you know, we went to the local video store, not the Blockbuster. I mean, like, this is Chattanooga. This was like the off brand, you know, video store. And we rented a movie. We were into sci-fi and things like that. And so we rented a movie called Cyborg. And
Oh my
I saw I saw that one could have the ability to wear a pair of boots that had a blade that came out of the front, and I thought this was a life goal, spinning
That's amazing.
kick. Hell yeah, that was the stuff.
No, I think for me, it was a buddy of mine, my best friend still to this day. We did what we called stupid movies every Friday night. We're going home on the middle school bus. And he said, hey, you want to do stupid movies tonight? We've been renting corny movies, but one time we rented Kickboxer. This whole thing about Tong Po is the big villain at the tournament and all that. And in the credits, it just says Tong Po. Like, oh my God, this is a real guy.
That was the dude.
It turns out it's not. And it turns out Tong Po is not even a real Thai person. He's actually he's Middle Eastern like me. I think he's Moroccan or something like that. And he was Van Damme's friend in France. His name is Michael Akisi or something like that. And I'm not even kidding. I'm not going to do it. But they did the makeup to make his eyes more Asian in the 80s.
Oh my.
For kickboxing.
The 80s were such an amazing time.
Yeah. There was, it was a different time, people. It was okay.
Oh no, we all had that. Listen, we all had that moment when I was growing up when we realized that I'm talking about some of my friends who were Indian and I'm half Indian, where we realized wait, the guy in Short Circuit is an Indian.
Right.
And we were like, what? Yeah. It was hilarious, man. But yeah, Lionheart, there you go. Yeah, I know we've had some discussions about Lionheart, but for me, my first Van Damme movie that I loved was Cyborg. It had, it had a great villain in it. It had all of those kinds of, those bleak themes. To this day, I have a mix on my computer of a song called Wrong Side of the Tracks by a group called Biohazard. I don't know if anybody in the chat knows this, but I customed the opening of the song to have the opening lines of Fender in Cyborg, where he goes, I like the death, I like the misery, I like this world. And then it goes into the heavy guitar, man. Love that stuff.
There's a great thing. I was just watching Cyborg last year. I hadn't seen it. And in the final fight, spoilers, the movie's 30 years old, whatever.
Exactly.
The movie's so low budget. It was those Canon movies by the Gohan brothers or whatever. There's a state not a person in the movie. I want to call him a stagehand, but not a stagehand. A special effects guy holding a fan blowing steam and smoke. And when he's coming to fight Fender in the middle of that junkyard in the rainstorm, you literally see the guy. I'd never seen it before, when I was younger, but I was watching it last year and I'm like, who's this white guy with the mullet and a t-shirt tucked into his mom jeans and he's holding a fan blowing steam? Oh, I should have found that before the show. I didn't even think that. I'll find that and show it. I'm pretty sure I have the DVD or the Blu-ray of that movie. But right before the final fight in Cyborg, you literally see one of the workers blowing steam into the big rainstorm. It's hilarious.
Yeah, we got to do a read down of all the people here in the chat. Look at this. It's blowing up. We got to get everybody's name out there, man. This is amazing.
No. How dare you, Beard Gasmatron? He says Chong Li is better than Tong Po. Ooh, I don't know. Best Van Damme fight movie, Leg Kick One asks, Bloodsport, The Quest, or Kickboxer? I know my answer. What is yours, Shanth?
Bloodsport.
Bloodsport. Okay, I agree with you. Kickboxer was the one I fell in love with, the first one I saw, but Bloodsport is just that. It's just that OG.
Second one.
Yeah.
That would be my. I probably watched Kickboxer just as much as I've watched Bloodsport, movie wise. Kickboxer, I just loved, the training sequence. I've always been a sucker for a really vicious training sequence.
Here's a comment. I agree with. Bloodsport has charm. Yeah, it does have that
Stephen Rockwood.
Even though he's supposed to be Frank Duke, so we can get into the whole Frank Duke thing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, if you guys know, Bloodsport is based off of the true life story of former CIA, secret spy, Marine Corps, Army Ranger. It's like Dwight Schrute was a Hollywood kickboxing actor. Basically, his life story of a secret kumite in Southeast Asia that he won. And that was another great thing about those movies is in the 80s, there was no internet for us to look up facts. And when you watch Bloodsport, at the end, they put all these facts on the screen that Frank Dukes had the fastest knockout in Kumite history, 0.2 seconds. Frank Dukes knocked out 53 men in 1 minute. And it's just, and as a kid, you're reading it oh my God, who is Frank Dukes?
This is going on right now.
Turns out probably wasn't true, a lot of that.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. And it's funny too, because I'm seeing, when I look at people it's like Street Fighter, some people say Street Fighter is the best Van Damme movie with Kylie Minogue in it. I've heard that from a lot of people. No, but no, it's
was. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go.
No, go ahead. Please jump in, man.
I was just going to say, we love Van Damme, but he does admit himself he had a bad cocaine problem for like 5 years there. And I think that was right in the middle of the cocaine. That and Knockoff and Double Team with Dennis Rodman, those are terrible. But go ahead. What were you saying about Street Fighter and Kylie?
No, I was going to say what was interesting to me about Street Fighter was, as a movie, I thought that the production did a really solid job. And I think it definitely was a kind of career high point of people, people who were normies, let's say, going to see a Van Damme movie. Like, he was always big with action stars, with action fans. But that was one that was really kind of, could have been a mainstream breakout story. But I think the tone, they had a lot of trouble with the tone on that movie.
Yeah, I agree. The tone is, I don't know, is it up and down, the tone? Oh, people.
Well, they just kind of, if you're used to seeing, if you're used to seeing Van Damme movies, the threat level there's always more of a malevolent threat level. And the guy, what's his name? Was it Raul Julia who played who played the villain in that? There you go. We got to have
he played M. Bison.
And he played him kind of, silly and campy.
Yeah, that was his last role. Raul Julia. So someone wanted to see that, so I had to.
You got to. Yeah, we got to hail the chat. Yeah.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Kickboxer and seen that, that great scene where Van Damme gets drunk and dances with these women at the bar and then beats the shit out of a bunch of dudes, you're really cheating yourself. It's amazing.
It's a great movie.
Oh, Andrew Wilson. I like this here. He reminds us that Bloodsport had Don Gibb, Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds. That's right. I follow him. I think I follow him on Instagram right now still.
That guy, like that sequence with him, and those were the kind of fun things that Van Damme movies did really well. Was he was really good at, his version of it, having empathy. Like, they kind of created his Apollo Creed, Rocky IV moment where he's watching his buddy get taken out, and I thought it was a really fantastic.
I think they hit it off, and it is a really good like dichotomy between the two of them. You've got what's his name, Gibb, Don Gibb. You've got Don Gibb as the big lunkhead and all that. There's a really weird scene. In Kickboxer, I was thinking about Don Gibb being in the hospital with the headband on and drinking beer. There's a scene in Kickboxer where Van Damme's older brother, he's all laid up and this and that. And they're in one place, like talking about fighting and this and that. And then they just cut to Van Damme and his brother and the nurse in the hospital. And he literally just grabs the nurse's ass. And she looks at him like, what the hell? And they laugh. And then it cuts back to the other serious talking. And it's just like the weirdest edit ever. Like, I don't understand. Like, well, how did that drive the story forward? Like, why is this okay that he's grabbing the nurse? Every time I see it, I'm always puzzled. Like, was that an outtake that just got edited in, or what the hell was that?
It's really funny when you look at some of these movies of, like, I try to think about the fact that I believe it was the cyborg costumes were meant for a He-Man sequel, if that He-Man movie with Dolph Lundgren had done well, in the audience. And I thought, like, boy, imagine if this was a He-Man movie and it went to this level of darkness. That's pretty terrifying, But there's a lot of really quirky, idiosyncratic things in those movies, a lot of strange things. And I think one of the things that seemed to happen early on in his career, and that I think was responsible for a lot of his success, is they did a really good job of casting people who were pretty solid actors around him. People who could bring comedy to the table, people who could bring just a little bit of, something else for him to play off of, because he does work really well with other actors when they give him enough to work with.
Yeah, it's interesting to see some. What is his name? He's the. He played the Saw Gerrera in Rogue One. He's the black guy, and he has the one crooked eye.
Oh my God! Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker, and he's there in Bloodsport. It's like, oh wow, I wonder if that was one of his first major roles or whatever.
Forrest Whitaker's been acting forever.
Right. You mentioned the great Dolph Lundgren. Yes. And I want people to know this came out the other day. It was $5.99 on Amazon Prime. And it was actually really good. Castle Falls with Scott Adkins and Dolph Lundgren. It's just classic 90s style action with kind of like a thriller, a heist, but sort of a heist with a twist. So that gets 2 thumbs up for me. I watched Castle Falls the other night by myself, and it was a lot of fun. So Someone mentioned Dolph Lundgren. I thought I'd bring it up. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I mean,
so,
and it's kind of funny too because I think that people keep trying to figure out what to do with Van Damme. He has this large audience. I know he's been developing some stuff, and they did that Amazon Prime show and things like that. But I do think that what he showed in movies like JCVD and what he's shown throughout his career when he's focused and he's there is his ability to kind of emote a little bit there and give his character some heart.
Yeah. So I got all over the road there talking about all kinds of things. But
Sure.
You were saying that first movie you got with your friend, which one was it? Kickboxer or Bloodsport? I forgot.
So it was Cyborg. Was for me.
Oh, Cyborg. That's right. So go into that a little bit. Tell me what you know about Cyborg, what you love about that movie particularly.
Well, it's funny. I was growing up in Chattanooga around that time. So first of all, the whole idea of them trying to get to the last remnants of civilization in Atlanta, we thought was kind of hilarious. We were like, oh, good. Well, I guess we can just flee an hour and a half south and get to Atlanta. But we were just in that kind of mode where we were listening to like Metallica's Master of Puppets, and we were just hanging out and doing whatever we were up to, and we were just looking for movies that were overly hardcore by that definition back then. I mean, they'd be light. You watch John Bernthal and The Punisher. Like, there's nothing Van Damme does, or even the villains in those movies do, that's close to it. But there was this kind of this quality. We like that post-apocalyptic Mad Max meets martial arts action. You know.
Yeah,
I
think nowadays in so much cinema, no matter what it is, if it's a thriller, a romance, drama, action, there's a real ugly cynicism. There is no fun to it. And what you're saying here about a John Bernthal Punisher, it's badass and hardcore.
Yeah.
But where's any of the joy in the story and any of that fun, wide-eyed excitement? You know what I mean? Like, sure, bad guys should be really bad and evil and you should dislike them. But I don't know, that adventure. I don't hear adventure music when I'm watching new stuff. Like, I mean that metaphorically. I don't hear it or feel it in my head, like that sense of adventure.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's ugly people doing stuff to uglier people. You know what I mean? It's like the good guys and the bad guys are both bad guys. It's just the villain is just a worse bad guy now. So
absolutely.
There's nothing aspirational.
And there's friendships in those movies too. There's friendships and there's, it's one of the things, like we were talking about supporting actors. I love that. Jean-Claude. Yeah, I'll agree with that. He was the first Predator.
Oh, sorry to jump on. Stephen Rock Drawing says, if Jean-Claude fought Steven Seagal, how long would Seagal stay in the coma?
For a while.
Yeah. And we had this is a fun fact. I only learned this like a year or two ago. Do you know anything about this, Shanth?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He was working on the Predator, realized his face wasn't going to get seen, and realized he was going to be in those green whatever green screen costume, and he was like, I'm out of here. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm looking it up so we can show people the Van Damme Predator. It was a totally different design. It was like I got a great picture of it here. Let's see. I'll make sure there's no nudity on this before I share the screen.
No porn.
You got to, right? Hold on. Sorry, guys. Share screen. Oh, this is real great, Gabe. No, it was a totally different design. I wonder why they had that. Okay, it's just not showing up. That's real strange. Anyway, I'm sorry, Sean. I'll fix that in a minute.
Oh, no worries, man. It's one of those things where you were talking about heroism, you were talking about your comic, and there you go. Nice. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
Let me see if I can blow that up some. Hold on. Go ahead. But yeah,
it's actually I'm just checking that out. Yeah, that I do. The thing I know about the Predator was they were working on that flick and they were shooting it, trying to put the thing together. And I guess they became very aware that the creature suit didn't look good and it wasn't working. And they brought Stan Winston in and they were like, we need help. We need to rescue this movie. And he probably designed one of the most iconic creatures of all time as a result. Yeah. I mean, try to imagine that movie with that character in it. It just does not work. Falls apart.
I think the best thing about the Predator movie and the Aliens movies are the designs of the aliens. I mean, everyone loves Arnold, whatever, that makes Predator cool. But the Predator, that iconic face that opens and stuff and those little beady eyes, and it's just amazing looking. So to think they started off with that stupid ant costume or whatever is just, Wow, one of the worst designs you've seen, and turns out to be one of the best, longest lasting, iconic alien designs. Yeah, Goldschlager said it much more succinct than me.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
well, think about though during that time period though, and you were talking about that, like when as a young kid, and I mean this just in a basic sort of level, you were talking about the nurse walks by, and he grabs her ass, like that's kind of weird, and I would agree with you. I remember we watched that. I don't think a lot of us said to ourselves, "There's a life plan," but we were watching these movies and we were seeing guys be guys in this sort of like incubator that we knew wasn't 100% real, but you know how we are. We watch these things and go, did you hear like the real Frank Dukes? Like, I mean, we believe almost guys, teenage boys believe pretty much anything that they hear during that time. There wasn't some internet to give us our conspiracies. We just had, word of mouth.
Right.
Oh, geez. Yeah, hell yeah. You ever try that?
You mean today? No,
not today. No, I mean, God. I don't know. Am I in the hospital?
I don't think I can do the splits. Although I am quite flexible. I'm standing right now, so I'd fall over if I tried it. But I can't put my foot about here on the back of my head. I've always been able to. I have very long limbs. You know the Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man or whatever?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
One of the ratios, for those of you in the crowd, is the length from your fingertip to fingertip is your height, right? Not for me. I'm 6'4". I'm 7 feet this way. You know what I mean? So I have super long arms and stuff. So I'm kind of flexible. Right. I got that long. Oh, we'll get to boxing. Eventually, I don't know if we'll get to it today because we don't want to go on.
Yeah, we'll get that. We've got
I saw it. Okay, I'm going to just segue into it since we mentioned boxing and reach.
Sure,
Mike Tyson, everybody's favorite, right? He's heavyweight champ at what, 19? He knocks out Trevor Berbick, something like that.
Yep.
But he does stand up in Las Vegas, and I saw it like 3-4 years ago, and he does about an hour with video screens helping him. He just talks about his life, and it's just he's an open book and makes fun of himself taking drugs, and he's really straightening himself out. He is a hilarious dude. But he went over how he lost his front tooth because, of course, he owned a pet tiger because who doesn't? And he came home one day and he runs up to give it kisses and touch it. And it just the force of it jumping into him, its skull knocked his tooth out of his knocked his front tooth out. So that's what I remember about seeing
Mike Tyson live impact right there. If you get hit by a tiger skull, I mean, if you've ever been hit by a big dog, skull face right into your face, that'll do damage. Tiger's slightly more serious.
Oh, look at this. This is a great comment. Michael Dudikoff made me want to be a ninja for 3 years. I've never seen the American Ninja movies, but I've heard about them, right? I tried to watch the American, and I don't mean to crap on your thing, Chad Doss, but I tried to watch the American Ninja movies like 2-3 months ago, and I couldn't get through the first one. I just couldn't do it. It just was the wrong night or something was going on. There was just something not working for me. So
the best I'll give him another movie try. Ever made, just so we can be clear, and I will say this. Chad, if you have not seen it, do check it out. It's worth a look. Is a movie with Christopher Lambert in it called The Hunted, and it has got some of the best ninja versus samurai crazy, action scenes that you're ever going to see. And it's just a really cool story. But I have it on Blu-ray. I love that movie, The Hunted. It's not the movie with with Tommy Lee Jones and Benicio del Toro. There's another movie called The Hunted. This one's got Christopher Lambert and I think his name is, what's his name? Is it John Lone? I'm trying to remember what the actor's name, but he's fantastic. Yeah, great flick.
And Chad is a good sport. Thank you. And thank you all for watching. If you could all, if it wouldn't be crazy, hit the like, subscribe, tell your friends. Next time at Christmas, get all your family members' phones, go on YouTube and subscribe to Shanth's channel and mine, please.
Hey, I'd appreciate it, guys. Absolutely.
But we had this one here. I wanted to see. This doesn't have to do with the fighting stuff. But Gabe, any chance for a colors return on Patreon? Aaron Lepresti showed a page of Wraith of God in black and white that I'm getting to soon. I'll ask him if he minds if I do that on stream. And then my own book, Oath of Blood. And the Beef Law is my Van Damme book. Oath of Blood is my science fiction action book. I was breaking down story with Philippe, the artist for that, and he's starting on pages probably tomorrow or the next day. So since that's my book, I can color any damn thing I want online. And I don't really worry about spoilers. I'll tell people it's a color stream. If you don't want to see spoilers, then, close your eyes or whatever. But I think giving people a little snack, a little taste, it's like the cocaine dealer on the corner that we all
exactly know. Right.
First one's free.
Was that a Van Damme reference? Because I love our boy. He had struggles.
No. Hey, he got
I love
over
our
it.
boy.
Hey, look at that.
That's right. Yeah, he did. Bless him.
Yeah. Yeah. And look at here. Barb Rogers, Little Miss Sunburn sent a super sticker. And if you're on YouTube, you can see it. I can't see it on stream here, but okay. It's a little dancing karate fox. Thank you, Barb Rogers. She's one of our mods. Thank you so much for the $5. I really, really appreciate that. What was I talking about right before? I'm sorry, before I thank the super chat. I don't remember. Who knows?
We're having dad brains right now, but that's all right.
I was talking about the coloring stream. Someone asked. So
yes, colors on Patreon.
Yeah, and we wrote this amazing epilogue, Philippe and I. We've been breaking story on Skype meetings because he lives way back in Quebec, somewhere there in Canada, frozen. He told me it was like -17 or something where he is. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Philippe went to the grocery store. He said it's a half-hour walk there and back. And he said it was raining, but it had been snowy, so it was really slippery. And he literally, like cartoon slipped, fell on his ass, and all of his groceries went everywhere. Poor guy. I couldn't help but laugh at him when he told me that. Poor guy.
Oh, Lord.
What a friend I am laughing at. But this is Philippe's work here. This is science fiction. We have transhumanism, where humans are like combined with computers. We have chimeras and stuff, like psychic powers, interdimensional portals, evil aliens trying to work a deal with corrupt government officials to invade our dimension and take it over. And a guy, this guy right here, Tobias, and his heritage is a long line of people who have been fighting off these aliens and stuff like that. So this is Oath of Blood, Oath of Bone. And Philippe Briona is a former Disney animator, Marvel and DC comic artist. He's illustrating the shit out of this thing. And he fixes my scripts. I write the scripts, and then he just goes into it and like, oh, well, what about this moment and that one? We had this amazing 2-hour talk on Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, I was just in awe of Philippe. And I said, Philippe, did you learn this at Disney? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I learned this at Disney. Like, story is like #1 there. So, y'all, I would love for you to all back this. And I'm going to get out, I think right after Christmas, I'm going to start like the mailing list and all that. And there's going to be perks. And we're going to have some really interactive stuff on the internet that I can't tell you about just yet. But if you get in on the mailing list and all that on Indiegogo, and I'll set that up and put the link in future videos, this is going to be amazing. So we go away from that commercial break back to wherever we were talking about martial arts. But someone asked, so I thought I would tell them what I'm up to.
No, absolutely. I mean, listen, guys, this is a CG stream, and we want to talk some comics, and obviously we want to talk about, you know, how these action movies from this particular time period influenced us, and they, in a lot of cases, defined what heroism was for us. And it's funny, I know you were talking about not being wild about a movie that I actually love. I mean, I'm sure we all have some affection for Van Damme movies of any stripe. But I have to tell you, I really enjoyed the movie Lionheart when I was a kid.
Wow.
I will tell you the thing I loved about that movie, the best memory in the world you could have for a movie, was my buddy and I, Zach, the same guy. We talk about these childhood friends because they're so intertwined with these moments. He's the guy who was the dude I knew who painted Warhammer miniatures for all my people who were into the plastic crack, you know, that is the expense of collecting Warhammer.
For the Emperor.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah. And he introduced me to comics, Ninja Turtles, Todd McFarlane, all that stuff. We were trying to sneak in to see Lionheart when it was in theaters. All we knew was the new Van Damme movie. And we were probably about as stealthy as teenage boys are when they're about to try to pull something off. So we must have been whispering loud enough for the people in front of us to hear. And this dude in Chattanooga just sort of turned around. He's like, hey, guys. And we were like, yeah. He's like, y'all trying to get into Lionheart? And we were like, yeah. He goes, give me your money. I'll buy your tickets. And that was just one of those all-time, you know, what a dude.
Based country boy. Country boy helping the youngins.
Stuff.
Yeah, that's
because,
really
I mean,
cool.
And think about this for a minute. That was an R movie, guys. Lionheart was an R movie. Think about what an R movie is today. That's probably a PG movie if you were to rate it today.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the things that... I mean, God, Cyborg was dark for an R movie back in the day. But yeah, I mean, the thing about that movie that got me was the relationship between, you know, Van Damme's character, Leon, and Joshua.
What was the trainer? Joshua.
The guy who's basically, and it was kind of interesting. Maybe it's because there was some overlap with my love of comics and comic creators giving advice, but it was kind of like, don't end up like me. Don't end up getting, you know, screwed by the system as I did and be broken. And I'm going to try to help you. And I loved the sequence when you know, at the end where he's kind of like, you know, he's lost all of his money, you know, Joshua has, because he's, you know, bet against Van Damme and all that other stuff, but he's trying to help him out. Spoiler alert, the movie is ancient. And the thing about it is that he kind of says, you know, he's like, don't ever lose your heart, but, you know, lose that heart you've got because you'll never get it back. It's so hokey. But the movie doesn't end with that nihilistic, I think it's you know, what an awful message it would be if it did, where he's kind of like, no, he gives the guy a hug, they embrace. He's like, I'm going to need you to take care of my family. All that stuff that people told us wasn't even possible, you know, during that time period. And the relationship between these characters was great, man. There was and he always sells that stuff really well.
Yeah, I think I've come around on it after listening to you talk. I think the thing I wasn't into it as much is because I have to admit this, and I don't lose any credibility because I'm admitting it. I didn't know about this movie. Somehow I missed it. I don't think it had a major release. I claim to be the biggest Van Damme fan. I did not know about this movie, and I heard about it a few years ago. I'm like, what? And it was fun for me. It was like finding $20 in your pocket. It's like, wait a minute, there's another.
But it was huge in Chattanooga, Gabe.
Oh, well, apparently it wasn't released in San Diego, California.
You probably lived in a real town. That's what the problem was. I didn't.
Yeah.
They were like, what are we going to send these hill folk in Chattanooga? Let's send them Lionheart.
Right. So, yeah, when I saw, though, I did like at the end where, you know, basically the premise of the movie is like Street Fighter. He does underground illegal fights, and it's a bunch of rich, weird people who like are getting off on seeing a bunch of ultra violence. And it kind of seems like they don't care if people get killed in these fights. It has a great fight in a swimming pool at like a Beverly Hills mansion or something. I always thought that was neat.
The they're in like quadruple take. That's one of my favorite gifts you can possibly have. Is the maybe quadruple, maybe 5 take elbow to the guy's face. That is so ludicrous and glorious.
Here's the fight in the swimming pool. And, yeah. And at one point. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know, but the way the Van Damme fighting in the 90s were edited, he'd hit someone, and then they'd show it from this angle and this angle, and he'd be like, yeah, and then they'd slow it down, all slow. And he does, you're right, it's like a quad take or something where he hits this guy and knocks him into next week. So, but yeah, he's wearing a wrestling singlet. He's wearing a wrestling singlet and fighting in like 2 feet of dirty water in an abandoned Beverly Hills mansion swimming pool. So, but at the very end, they want him to kill. I think his name is Attila. Attila is the main villain, and he spares the guy's life at the end, and that's how he doesn't lose that piece of himself, as Joshua was teaching him. So, it's a recommend for me. I was just miffed that I didn't know about it, you know, because I'm supposed to know everything about this stuff. So,
but there was, there's some very weird, like the people who were making movies back then, and maybe this is a little bit like indie comics, and I'd also like to say too. Is it something that pairs really well with that Van Damme martial arts period was the comic that really kind of got me into making my own comics, which was an 80s comic called Grips. And it was just a like one claw, like Wolverine character. And he did a lot of martial arts. There was a lot of fight scenes, a lot of gore. And not horrible gore, but there was blood in it. And it's interesting because, you know, you look at the people making these movies and they were always trying to go a little bit deeper. For example, in Lionheart, the injury that he has is on this side of him, his rib, you know, which is, you know, a very like, you know, a very big kind of comparison, even though it was not a broken rib in the New Testament. But the idea was that this character was sort of being sent like a lamb to the slaughter with a different outcome. And there were always those really heroic kind of themes in these movies. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, I think Van Damme was the right guy at the right time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He's got the look. He's not the greatest actor in the world, but he's good enough. And he's got the charm. And I think what comes across, and I mean this sincerely, I think what comes across from him that's so enchanting to me is you could tell he's really having fun doing this. Yeah. When people are making their art, whatever it is, and they just love it, whether it's good or bad or mediocre, but they love it, there's just something energizing about that, something infectious. You get into it too. It's like when you go to the pub by your house or a little place and you see this guy, he's not a famous saxophone player or whatever, and he's just wailing away, and you can just see the love that he's putting into that craft. I always got that feeling from Van Damme that he was having a lot of fun doing this stuff. And I don't know, it just
he's a good dude.
Yeah,
you know,
you can tell he
wasn't ready for Hollywood. I think that was the real big thing about it. You know, the thing about him that I think a lot of people liked and that was really difficult for him is that he seemed like he was a very kind of like open, sort of trusting, you know, I mean, he came from the middle of nowhere, you know, and then got flung into, you know, he wanted to be a Hollywood actor, and he got everything he was after. And I think that it was a lot for him to handle during that time. And because he wasn't, you know, Stallone sort of worked his way up. Schwarzenegger worked his way up in like American, essentially bodybuilding, which you start out with that kind of competitive, you know, he was competing against, you know, Lou Ferrigno, for heaven's sake. You know, he was competing against all of these really amazing people. Van Damme kind of came in through the side door and kind of just ended up being, you know, in this movie. And it was very quick. His rise to stardom was, you know, absolutely quick. I mean, I think that's probably why he bailed on Predator. He's like, I suddenly am too big for this role. Like, I'm not just trying to make a living.
Oh, you don't want to run around in a rubber ant suit in the jungle?
No, he's like, I want to run around in this particular type of tank top that I can't get enough of. You know, I just want to know where he lost the buckles.
I don't have a picture of it, but in the beginning of Double Impact, where he's teaching the ladies aerobics class there in Los Angeles.
Oh, yes.
And he's doing those splits in the royal blue tights. And those tights are so tight, you can see what he's thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, my goodness, nothing is left. I always thought that was a hilarious thing. He does. And Van Damme is obviously so famous for doing these splits. You know, it happens in so many of his movies. You were saying Cyborg. I think that has Van Damme's greatest splits of all time, because he does splits in Time Cops. He does them in all kinds of movies. He does it in Kickboxer, where he drops down and punches a guy. But in Cyborg, they're hunting him in the sewers, remember?
Oh, yeah.
That big guy with the long hair. And all of a sudden, the big guy with the long hair is in the sewer. Like, they're looking for Van Damme to kill him. And he looks up, and Van Damme is in the concrete sewer arch doing the splits, and then just kills the guy. It's amazing. It's so Van Damme.
It's so great. And, you know, that's the kind of, I mean, you were talking about this too, but this was the funny thing about those movies, right? That when they were marketing, what the MCU used to know how to do and figure out is what movies during that time did. In a lot of ways, I would say that the success of the MCU owes a lot to those movies from that time period, because women would turn out to see Van Damme. They would go to see him because he was this icon. He was someone they found attractive. And that's what the Marvel MCU did for, like, you know, the first, 10 years. It was basically like, you know, every single guy had to take his shirt off and fight or chase somebody for like every one of those movies. And it's funny because people don't understand, like, when people look at those movies and say, where are the women in these movies? I'm always like, they're in the audience. You know, like, they're in the audience. Have you figured it out? Like, this isn't for us. Like, they throw us a couple of elbows and leg kicks, and occasionally somebody in a 1980s bikini or one piece or workout outfit. But it's like, we're here for the action, but they're here for him, It's crazy.
And that's the thing. I don't want to get negative here. This show's supposed to be light and fun, but we can address exactly what you're saying about the modern SJW culture, why I had to get out of DC Comics, all that Hollywood nonsense. There's no joy. There's nothing aspirational. They see the standard. Let's just say the standard is, hey, can you do 100 push-ups? They go, that's racist. I only need to do 3 and I'm still a winner. It's like, no, the standard exists without you. The standard isn't up to you. And to see heroes and see their bravery and see their heart and see their compassion and masculinity, which is so important. You, as a boy, you would like, oh my God, that's possible. I can be afraid and still fight. Really? And like, oh, I don't have to cry and hide when I'm afraid. I can stand up to it, and win or lose, I tried. And these things, when you package them with fun, those ideas, it's like a little bit of sugar helps the medicine go down. You teach young boys and women too that you can stand up in life when you get a divorce or your bankruptcy or someone gets a cancer diagnosis, that you can be terrified and just move forward anyway. It's okay to feel scared. And I was reading Game of Thrones. Those are great books. And there's a scene, I don't remember who the child and the father are, but there's something really scary is coming. They're talking about it. And the boy says, Dad, aren't you scared? And the dad says, you can only be brave when you're scared.
Yep.
You can't be brave when you're not scared. That doesn't make sense.
And that's the thing about those movies too, is everybody had a different kind of quality to them in those movies. And Van Damme, of all of the actors during that time period, he had that quality where in every one of his films, he gets beat completely to the ground. Or not everyone, but some of the best, he gets beat completely to the ground. Like, he's completely against it. And he has to claw his way back or rebuild for the final confrontation. And that's the thing about it, that it sort of, I think today, what was it? There's all those quotes, and this has sort of been popularized by Game of Thrones in one way, that people who don't understand, the more subtle nuances of those books, which is, you either win or die. Actually, perseverance and discipline and all of those things come from losing and getting back up.
Right.
And that's the thing that, you were seeing right there.
It ain't about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you can get up and keep punching.
Do I do an okay? I think I do an okay Stallone.
You do. I think you do a fine Stallone, man.
My wife,
think?
My wife, her name. My wife's name is literally Adrian. So
that had to have been intentional. You were looking for that Adrian. That's right.
Anyway, to be honest, to be mushy and sweet, I saw my wife when I was 15 years old at high school church youth group. And I saw a smile this big from across the room.
Yep.
And I saw her smile and I couldn't believe it. And that was it. Got me. Got him.
Yep, absolutely.
Here I am.
I was
mortgage and all this stuff later.
It took me till, I think I met my wife when she was and I were 19. So we were a little ways behind on that. But, we've been together ever since. And I think that, one of the things about, I was just reading the chat, when people talking about First Blood, such emotion from Sly. Yeah. Right. These guys, Van Damme, like Stallone, was great as the underdog. Yeah. How many people I've talked to who I would ask them, I'd go, so do you know, like, what happens at the end of Rocky? And they don't know how the fight goes in Rocky. That blows my mind, because they assume.
We could say the spoiler, because the movie's
we can.
What? 45 years old,
500 years old.
He doesn't win, guys, but he wins by going the distance. He goes the full rounds with Apollo Creed, the champ. I just watched Rocky like 2-3 weeks ago. My son had never seen it, and kids. My son is an adult, but they're on the couch with you. You turn on a movie, and then they go in their room and they play Fortnite, or they go out with their friends. Or he stayed and watched the whole thing, and then I think we watched Rocky 2 like 2 or 3 days later. And he was like, Dad, these are really good movies. And as a father, I felt ashamed, like, I haven't shown my son Rocky yet. Like, I should have shown him.
That's fast, though. That's really fast, because this and this is, I know a lot of us are talking about this too, which is, we're looking for those stories of prepare for the next Kumite. That's right, absolutely. And it's like, a lot of us. Well, I always think about, it's so funny. I had this friend when I was coming up named Brian, who, he was this giant guy, and he could hit you and it felt like, you got hit by a truck, like when he would hit your arm and your hand would go numb, but he'd always come at you with the Mike Tyson peekaboo, stuff like this. And it was just like, he'd unfurl these punches, man. Woo.
Yep. Right.
Oh, some great comments in the chat.
Right. I'm looking at the chat too. They're going all crazy on it. Yeah, we didn't bring up Dolph Lundgren much at all, as far as I did bring him up with Castle Falls. That's what I was remembering that I did want to mention. So I already mentioned him. But so you had this friend he hit like a horse, huh?
Well, yeah, I mean, we had, I have a heavy bag in the basement of my house. My friend had a heavy bag in the basement of his house. Actually, all my friends seem to have heavy bags. And, their dads would go out and hit the bag, and then we'd just wail on the bag. My son likes to hit the heavy bag too. I mean, it's one of those things. But we would always like fight and do things like that. And I think that if someone were to say, like, what is the biggest thing the biggest myth that we need to get out of, in terms of that these stories remind us of, is one, it's not you either win or you die. It's also not you either die a hero or you live long enough to become the villain, which was something directly contradicted in the movie. They were pointing out that that's not the only two choices. That's just the only two choices of the eventual Two-Face, who flips a coin and only sees one or the other. But the idea of people not only did Rocky lose, but it made for a sequel. Like, people felt so emotionally invested, because his objective, much like a lot of true heroes' objective, is to, like, Luke loses in Star Wars. I mean, if Vader doesn't intervene, again, spoiler alert, 1983, folks. But if Vader doesn't intervene, he's just flopping around on the floor, and that's all she wrote. But he's like, my goal is not to turn to the dark side. That's it, done. And Rocky was
Oh,
you know,
I'm going to stop you right there on the Luke
rounds.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's why the stupid ass new Star Wars is egregious. The latest one, that is it The Last Jedi or The Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah,
what
we
was the
can't.
last
If we get into this now, this stream is going till 8 a.m. You know that, right?
Okay,
like, we'll
so we're
have
not going to do that. I'm going to say one package comment, one little comment in a box, and then we'll go back to Van Damme.
No, but hey, it's your show. You can talk about whatever you want to, but I'm just telling you, man, I may not leave.
Darth Vader's character arc is like kid, bad guy, fucked up father, blah, blah, blah. But he redeems himself at the last minute by saving his son Luke from the Emperor's lightning bolts. He saves him. He dies a hero. So all his evil, he makes up for by giving his life. There's nothing more he could give. So he atones for his sin. Yes. But in the latest Star Wars movie, the fucking Emperor's alive. So Darth Vader didn't sacrifice anything. So screw you forever, Disney Star Wars. Blah. All right. No more Star Wars, though, because Shanth I see something happening to Shanth's face, and it can't happen tonight. We've already been going almost an hour.
But we go back, let's go back to Lionheart. Let's go back to what they used to teach us about that stuff. You got a lot of heart. Don't lose it. You'll never get it back. Not true. Right. The movie says that's not true. Darth Vader, it's too late for me, son. It's not too late for you, buddy.
Right.
Because you need to nut up and do your job. You were supposed to be a hero. Go be a hero. It doesn't mean you win. It means you go 12 rounds. And I think that there's this obsession with your flash in the pan moment that these movies speak against. You know, they show characters losing, having setbacks. I mean, we haven't gotten to it, but in Hard Target, one of my favorite characters is Elijah in Hard Target, the guy who like helps them find, Douglas Bender's shopping cart, with all of his stuff in it, who then goes on to get hunted. And the sequence in that movie with him where he's still trying to maintain his dignity. He's still trying to, be this character and get his quality back. When we lose him as a character in that story, it's heartbreaking. And you think, how do we come back from that? Unbelievable.
Yeah, Hard Target is such a fantastic one. Do you want to expand on that one at all? Because I got to look up a photo because someone mentioned something. I got to show some of my credibility. But tell us more. What do you love the most about Hard Target? I mean, I think his haircut in that is fantastic. Van Damme has the.
Oh my God, the Billy Ray Cyrus, extreme. Listen, if we had more time before this, I was like online looking for mullets. I was like, I need to order a mullet to wear for this,
Well, in my comic Beef Law, that's the haircut that the twin brothers both have. They both have the grease mullet from Hard Target. I'll show it to you. But I want to show this. Just to show that I have credibility in this world. This is nice. This is proof that I'm a tall guy, by the way, because I'm taller than Drago. And if you look really close, that tie is all DC superheroes. My beautiful wife, Adrian, hand sewed that. And where we are here is the Roosevelt Hotel in Hollywood. And DC Comics, they let me come to the Aquaman movie premiere in December of 2018.
Nice.
It was so glitzy and fun. I hung out with the guy who's playing Boba Fett, Tamora Mercer. I hung out with him a bunch.
Oh, my God. Love that guy.
I hung out with Dolph Lundgren twice that night. Super nice. He acted like we were old friends the second time. And I approached him the first time and, oh, my God, Rocky, and you're so great and this and that. And you were great in Aquaman. But then we were crossing each other in the party, and he turns to me and goes, my man. And he comes up to me and shakes my hand. And it was really fun to get to meet him and stuff. And yeah, so I do have credibility meeting one of the great action stars.
Hell yeah. Have you met Van Damme yet?
I have not, and I'm afraid to. I like him so much.
You've got to make that a mission, man.
Right. He's here.
That's got to be a mission.
Right. On his Instagram, he just posted that he's here, right? Like he just got to America for filming or something.
Oh, man.
So
there we go.
Yeah, I have some fun stories about going to Hollywood premieres. I went to the Shazam premiere with my daughter, and we crashed the party afterwards, she and I. It was so much fun. I'll tell that story another time, though.
Nice.
So, that was really fun. Yeah, I'm checking the chat really quick. Wizard Beard says, nice, Gabe. Cool as fuck. Yeah, it was fun. Ooh, I like this comment here. Let me find it right here. Nah. One of our mods says, and my wife said maybe that name is Batman. Maybe that's what it is.
It's got to be.
JCVD as a Solid Snake in '99. What a timeline that would have been.
Wow. Yeah, hell yeah.
You know what I heard, and I don't even know what movie it was. I heard that Seagal and Van Damme were supposed to face each other in a movie. Do you know anything about this?
I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine. I'm trying to imagine how where Seagal would have to be to agree to that, because, you know, with all the history that's come out, you know, between those two guys and Seagal apparently running for his life from Van Damme. I was listening to.
Do you know that story?
Yeah.
Because I only know little bits of it. Do you want to tell the people here? Because I don't really know it. I've only heard of it.
I don't know it in total. Okay, listen. This is the thing you guys have to understand about this stream, all right? You're officially hearing dads and grown men talking about how rumors about Seagal and Van Damme fighting were relayed when they were 14, 12, 11.
I remember the best. We could call these urban legends from the middle school bus. Mm-hmm. The greatest one I'll never forget is a kid told me a code on the NES, the 8-bit Nintendo. This is 1988. Yeah. He said there was a code to get the Playboy channel.
Yes.
So
it things that were technologically impossible.
Right. But someone
told
me
what I mean?
That. So I just, I run home and I'm like, okay, this thing didn't work. So yeah.
And think about that now. Now there has to be a special code for you not to get that channel. But you know, here's another funny thing. You were talking about Cyborg. You were talking about all of this kind of stuff. There was a healthy element of selective nudity in these movies that were the thing, as innocent as it was, that were the thing that made them R, but also were sort of this whole thing about, you know, when you're a guy getting to go sneak into the movie for what, you know, for like 3 seconds of nudity or 3 seconds of like blood or action or anything like that. And what I think is kind of interesting right now, what kind of name is Chance? Because my mama took one.
Hey, that was pretty good. That wand. You had the French accent there. Very nice.
Well, you know, I mean, I've only watched these movies 1,000 times, but my favorite accent in Hard Target, of course, is Randall. You were gonna leave without saying goodbye, Randall. I come back here. I cut me a steak. That was one of my favorite ones, man. You gotta love Arnold Vosloo in that. But the thing about this, so here's the story. So this guy on the playground was telling me this game. All right. So Steven Seagal and Van Damme are at a party at Sly Stallone's house, and Seagal has been talking smack about Van Damme, how he'd kick his ass, and Van Damme basically has heard about this, and he's not one to fight, but he's like, hey, I'm looking for him. Where is he? If he wants to fight, let's see who would kick whose ass. And apparently Steven Seagal fled, and then Van Damme was actually like out looking for him. Like, where is he? And so I think it was Sylvester Stallone who told that story. He goes, it would have been no contest between those guys. He's like, Van Damme would have kicked his ass. And I thought that was funny.
Now,
but I do love my Seagal movies.
Where are you on Seagal? Because I think his first 5 movies are masterpieces. After that, he turns into what I call the Albuquerque Buddhist. He starts wearing those leather fringe jackets and Buddhist beads and talking about the environment way too much in his movies. But his first 5 are out of sight.
Like, look, go back to the one you were just at, right? And I could be wrong. Is that from Marked for Death, where he's got the silencer on the machine gun and he says a whisper from this
I
thing?
think
I'm pretty sure.
And I think so. My daughter grabbed these for me this afternoon.
Yeah. Marked for Death was one of my favorite. Like, we quoted Marked for Death all the time. We love that movie. I saw that movie in the theater. Love that poster. Yeah, that movie was awesome.
Yeah. Oh,
one thought he was invincible. The other thought he could fly. They were both wrong. Come on, man.
Oh, that's so good. I'm going to grab something from the back of my office here. I showed it to you last week, but I want to show the chat for anyone.
Oh, yeah. Let's have it. And guys, thanks for checking out. Let me see who we've got in here. We have got Goldschlager. We have got Mighty Geek Studios. We've got Leg Kick 1. We've got Past Masterdan. We have got Nana. I think we've got Citizen Ronin. Oh, look over there, guys. Steven Seagal.
My wife got me this for, I want to say my birthday or Christmas or something. And this is Nori Oshi-Orai. He's a Japanese painter. He did a ton of movie posters, but it's totally excellent. I can bring up, I have a JPEG of it. I can show you guys really quick. But he did all kinds of amazing posters in Star Wars, and I think he did some Metal Gear stuff and just all kinds of crazy crap. But I have that here in my office.
The thing about the chat that's shocking me right now is there's absolutely no love in the chat, this entire thing, for Kelly LeBrock. Like, no one's brought up Kelly LeBrock. Nobody has said they love Kelly LeBrock in that movie. So, I mean, if people loved Kelly LeBrock, I would be seeing that typed into the chat like crazy right now. But apparently, it's not happening. I don't know what this.
Yeah, when she was in Weird Science, that helped me become a man.
Yeah, that changes your life. For me, it was a swimsuit and Crocodile Dundee. Else. But we've all got our moments.
So that's the poster there. That's a JPEG of it. But this is like a Japanese import that my mom got me. My mom. Whoa, there's a Freudian slip. My wife got me. Yikes! Have you ever called your wife your mom? I guess she does.
No, but but see, this is the thing, right? Here's the problem, though, with that. What people don't understand: when you have kids early on, you lose your identity for a good 10 or 12 years. It's like your mom and dad.
Well, I do call her mom, and my grandma. I got that from my grandma and grandpa.
Yeah,
she would tell me, "Oh, daddy's doing this and daddy's that," and he would say, "Hey, mom, come here." And I say that to my wife around the house, so it's not some weird Freudian thing after all.
Well, and we got above the law is awesome, absolutely right, Rock Crin or Roke. Sorry, is it Rock or Roke Crin? I don't know. You might know that better than me.
We'll have to find out.
And then in the chat, there's have you guys ever seen Showdown in Little Tokyo? The answer is yes. I was a massive Brandon Lee fan.
Okay, when I tell you about my my buddy and we did stupid movies every Friday night, that's probably the movie we watched the most. And that has one of the funniest lines on it ever. That these two
and
were
totally random.
Yeah, so
say it. I know the line.
Oh, you know what? Brandon Lee says
I know the line. Can you say
without any context. They're naked for some reason because whatever. You have to watch the movie. It's amazing. And he tells him, says, "That's the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man." So
yeah, they're surrounded by bad guys.
Right. The house is being attacked by ninjas
and surrounded by bad guys. He says something like, "Dan, and just in case we get killed, there's something I have to tell you. You have the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man." And he goes, "Thanks." And he goes, "Don't get killed." And I'm like going, "Wait, did he just say?" Wait a second. So yeah, obviously all of these movies, there was no the Dolph Lundgren smirk. But those guys, those were some great, Brandon was a great athlete, and I thought he was great in The Crow with his performance and things like that. But the move that we were always trying to do on the heavy bag that's totally useless was the jab, spin around, back fist, and then 1-2. That was the one we were always trying to do from the fight in the restaurant or bar. We loved that, man.
Let me do a little interlude still related to what we're talking so you guys can have an update.
This is it. Let's talk about it.
Because I know on Comicsgate Kings, Ethan has decided, hey, we should show art to show people progress. So many of you have already seen this.
Right.
This is the first page of Beef Law. And I actually, I redrew it a little bit. I gave him a headband and changed his shorts a little. Let me see if I can find that. But this is the second and third page right here. Now, I don't know how great these look online.
They look good.
I just took this photo with my phone. But it's a fight in an underground, I always joke with my wife that these are factories that make fire and smoke. That's all they seem to make. They don't actually make products, but that's where Van Damme and Stallone fight everyone is in the smoke factory. And I joke with my wife that the guy's going to work in the morning saying, "All right, bye, honey. I'm going to go make a bunch of smoke today." And so this is Maximilian Volkov flying through the air, and then he's knocking the shit out of this guy who's 7 feet tall. And there's people in the background watching like a Street Fighter video game and stuff. And then he gives him this flying knee, just busts him in the face. His girlfriend with giant boobs, which I'm allowed to draw again now that DC's not in my way. And then the bad guy's on the ground here bleeding and I'll get you and this and that. And then I'm not done with the page. So my process is I'll draw little sketches on paper, take a picture with my phone, put it on my iPad, and then lay it out on my iPad. So, and then this is him telling the guy to stay down and all that. He will be wearing his kickboxing shorts in the comic. We will not see that juicy butt in the comic.
Listen, but I drew it anyway, you got to think about it this way, right? That's on your bucket list, right? This is the thing about it. You were talking about, about things you can do in comics. And I know I've shown this one to you before, but this is what the indie scene is about. You know what I mean? This is what it's about. It's about drawing attractive people. It's about having characters with honor and some type of moral compass. And when I look at this stuff, guys, that you've got two artists here. So not only did we grow up on this stuff, do we love this stuff? Do we believe in heroism and action and fun and all of the great stuff that the sequential art, big. I can't read that word, Phil. It's big boobs. That's what it is. Yes, I thought that was it. And I mean, look at this stuff, guys. This is bare knuckle, down and dirty fighting right there. We just need glass glued on there.
I said, like I said at the beginning, This is my love letter to these movies that shaped my idea of heroism as a kid. And, you know, he's telling the guy, stay down, you know, stay down, whatever, like I beat you. And of course, the bad guy doesn't stay down, and he really finishes the bad guy on the next double-page spread. And let me show you something else that's really fun.
Yep.
I'm drawing those, and I've shown this before, but some of you haven't seen it. I'm drawing those on twice up 18 by 24 paper. This is real comic book paper from DC Comics right here. They've sent me a ton over the years to when I've drawn stuff. This is a real sheet of 11 by 17 DC paper. And this is what I'm drawing on here, which is the green screen's killing. Let me make myself bigger. This is ridiculous. Sorry.
No, it's fine. You're doing it old school. That's the thing.
So this is that page here that I'm showing. I'm drawing it twice up. The green screen's kind of eating it, but don't worry. And then this is real DC paper here. Oh, I was just thinking, since I have paper with DC logos over it, I guess I should do commissions for people and send them on those. So,
well, you know, it's interesting to me. It's like this, this is, I agree with that. Absolutely. This is how you make comics. American Comics Company. It's good to see you in here. Mighty Geek Studios. Yeah. RMDO. And we've got Chad Doss. Yeah. All of you guys in here. We're trying to make the kinds of comics that you went to the comic book store, you know, and you were excited to get these things. Like, you were excited to see the fight scenes. You were excited to see the action. And, you know, for me, Tim Vigil's Grips was one of those books that really tied nicely into that. So, you know how, like, in every movie you have the part where the character is kind of like, you know, building himself up and like working out between missions. I remember seeing this as a kid, and I'll see if, oh yeah, here you go. See if you can get this on screen. This is
okay. I'll make you a huge
Mom said super chat. That's right.
That's this Minnie, right here. Minnie, can I read the super chat? Sorry.
Yes, please read that. Yeah.
She's my daughter, and she's the one that made the intro video, and she does the comedy show with me. And awesome, Mom said the super chat. So my wife just gave YouTube half of that money, and then we'll get half of it back. So
it was that's what it's about, you know. So this right here, this is a sequence from Grips, a comic book that I read when I was a kid. And this dude is just getting ready to go and kick ass. And he's doing all of this kind of like, you know, he's saying pain, keep working, precision. And he's a comic book artist, funny enough, in the comic. But this comic was so filled with action and all the cool stuff we like. So when I sat down and said to myself, I'm going to, you know, create a comic book, what am I going to do? It was looking at all of the stuff from that time period, not for nostalgia. Because if you're listening, as cool as nostalgia is kind of like, you know, nostalgia is fine if you're looking at old stuff. With new stuff, sometimes I think it's got to add something to it, which is what we're doing with our projects. You know, we're bringing something new to this stuff because, you know, we want to see the kind of heroism that we believe in, but we want to see it reflected in a new way. And that's what great movies are.
And I think, and I don't want to get negative because this is a fun show, but I think the mainstream SJW stuff, that's what they're getting wrong. Kylo Ren has that line in the second of the new 3 Star Wars main movies. It's like, destroy the past, kill it, or whatever. And that's like the SJW credo of nothing that happened before I was born or before this morning matters. I'm the only one that knows anything. I'm the center of the universe. All my opinions are right. All those old people, they're a bunch of Neanderthal dummies. They don't know anything. And it's like, no, all the knowledge and skill and abundance you have is from them, you idiot. All you have
I think they know that, though.
You know that saying, you're standing on the shoulders of giants. You know, we're building on the past nostalgia. We're not destroying it and mocking it and saying it sucks. We wouldn't be what we are without it. And I'm paying respect to that. At least that's my viewpoint.
No, but here's the other thing, too. I think they do know it's great. I think they do know it's better. What they're resentful about is that it has done better. So they have to erase. It's basically, I always said this to people that when you talk about things like when people talk about like getting rid of grades or getting rid of scoring, they're not trying to lift up or erase their own F's or C's. They're trying to kill your A. They're trying to destroy and erase your record. So that they are basically being measured off of nothing. And so that is
really a great nuanced way of
because
that is amazing.
The core feature of this stuff, guys, is resentment and narcissism. So think about this. We would go into these movies, and I don't know, I'm going to let the secret out right here. I wasn't built like Jean-Claude Van Damme. I didn't go into those movies and go, you know what would be great is? I mean, obviously Gabe is. We know this.
Speak for yourself.
This is a fact, all right? Gabe's bicep is bigger around than my head. Know it.
That's right.
Deal with it. But
I'm a big man. You saw me towering over Ivan Drago.
Yeah, that's right.
I would knock that Ivan in the second. You know what I'm saying?
So you think about this, right? It's like the whole thing is I don't want to play the game unless I win or nobody wins. And that's the kind of thing that gets me. Yeah, there you go. That's right. Be ready to rock and roll. They're locked and loaded, man. And dude, I just finished my funding period of my campaign yesterday, and these guys were awesome. They're on it, guys. Yeah. Nosfero's it's in demand now, guys, so go check it out. But yeah, Comicsgate has definitely.
I'm going to find the link for Nosfero and put it in the chat, so keep gabbing away.
Yeah, and this is the thing I would say, guys, is that the biggest myth that everybody is dealing with about this and why we're sort of so hungry for stories that feature heroes is because it really is a cult of resentment. So like when people who can't draw and have no skill see people like John Malin or Ethan Van Sciver, they could say it's because they don't agree with me ideologically, but the ideology seems to be a resentment of beauty, talent, imagination, and creativity, because it's illogical, regardless of any of those other things, to resent people who are more skilled. And so what we were presented with during these time periods were exceptional physical specimens doing unbelievable things. And that was true of things like Charlie's Angels. That was true of things like the Incredible Hulk TV show with Bill Bixby, all the way up to Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Ivan Drago. I mean, look at both of these guys. They're not like most of us.
As a man now, and even as like a 15, 13-year-old, whatever, you see that and you're like, I can be that. If I work hard, I can be that man. You know what I mean?
And they also were manifestations of their own character, or else the movies didn't work. Like, you see these guys and they're like, I'm bigger and stronger than you, but what separates us isn't even my physique. It's my heart. It's my will to not quit. And that's huge.
Yeah, and I'm not the only badass in CG. I guess this Preston Acevedo, purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and Shane Davis is a badass too. I've known that for a long time. So. Don't let Shane Davis catch you slipping. He may not be a huge dude, but he'll knock you.
I want to talk boxing with Shane. We'll talk boxing too, but I love boxing.
We will get to it. Because by the way, here's that Albuquerque Buddhist. But yes, I'm huge into boxing. Also, more recently.
Was that around the time of On Deadly Ground?
I think that is On Deadly Ground. I'm trying to find my Mike Tyson pictures and stuff. Just because you mentioned boxing, and now I'm just screwing up.
Oh yeah, I was watching.
We'll just leave it here. This is that's good enough for boxing. Whatever. So
what's the difference between those? And shoot, I mean, Carl isn't exactly out of shape himself. Probably still to this day. Look at all these guys. Fantastic. Yeah. Oh God, I got to read this because this is one I can do. You stood on the shoulders of geniuses to accomplish something as quick as you could. And before you even knew what you had, you patented it, you packaged it, and you slapped it on plastic lunchboxes. And now you're selling it. You're selling it. Well,
that's awesome. And that's a great movie, too. I didn't see it when it came out because I thought I was too old for it because I was like 15 or 16. I thought it was a dinosaur movie for babies in second grade. And I did see it later in life. I was like, oh, that was an excellent movie. No wonder it set all those records.
That's for you, yesterday's fool. We love you here. We love you here on Double Impact.
Right. Yes, we love you all. Let me look at the chat real quick because the chat is active and fun tonight. We are having fun.
It is.
I'm glad people are into this. I'm glad we're not alone. What got me back into my love of Van Damme is during the pandemic. My family, we only really stayed home like the first 2 months. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I started watching like a lot of YouTube and this and that. And if any of you out there know Cinemassacre, James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd, I've been a fan since forever. I love that. And they used to do this show called Rental Reviews on Fridays. And they said YouTube or Netflix has Bloodsport for free right now. I thought to myself, man, I haven't seen Bloodsport in like 10 years or 5 years. So I watched it. And then during like those couple months of staying home for the pandemic, I started watching a Van Damme movie every night. He has like 76 movies. I've seen all of them now except for one, all the horrible ones and then I started watching all the Seagal movies and then all the Stallone movies. And I would just watch a movie every night and tell my family about how corny it was or how whatever happened. And we would just, as a family, just joke about it and stuff. I would send my family memes on our family chat. And it just it rekindled it for me, seeing that Bloodsport movie. I just was like, oh yeah,
I watch these movies. They make a 1 minute edit. And I can tell, like, this Blu-ray has this shot from a different take. You know, I mean, because I've seen all these movies so many times, too old for Jurassic Park. And someone in the chat was saying that Phil Diaz brought the heat on this show back, Lost Pages 2. This is a painting I've been doing for fun of Phil Diaz's character, The Masquerade. People, so let me tell you something. This is how I bring the heat for my brother Phil. So get on Lost Pages 2, back book 1 and 2. Nosferatu and The Masquerade are brothers from another mother, people.
Oh, so and I threw the link. I threw the link to Nosferatu in there.
Absolutely.
Into the chat. Let me share the screen on Nosferatu. I want to talk about Nosferatu a little bit.
Oh, sure.
Trying to change gears a little bit and share screen. Gosh dang it! Go get up there. I have to remove it and then share it again. I don't understand why this. That's weird. Okay, it made me stop sharing the one and then come back to it. Okay, here we are. So Nosferatu, you're at.
Oh my God! Look at you guys.
16,805. Only Comicsgate fans can do stuff like this, man. They're the greatest
people. Only Comicsgate fans can do this stuff, and there's no audience in pop culture you want to be making work for. It's going to be this fun. And by the way, Geek Avenger, I gotta say this to you, man, because I see you comment all the time, and that is a photo of Larry Buster Crabbe. I have the Flash Gordon and the Buck Rogers stuff that he did. All those on DVD because they haven't got really good Blu-rays of them yet in my house. And I have a picture, a black and white. That photo was in my office when I was teaching college. I love those old serials, are amazing. That's where they got the Star Wars opening crawl from, was those Flash Gordons. They had the opening crawl first, and that's what Lucas was referencing.
Right. And the whole concept of the serials, the episode 4 and episode 5. It was really fun that they started with episode 4 and there was no episode 1, 2, 3. One thing I know about fiction, and I was breaking story on Oath of Blood with my boy Philippe. That's I got it here somewhere. And,
you were showing that.
I have it here somewhere. Anyway, this is it. And one thing you got to do when you write is don't over-explain. It's like a drawing with too many details.
Yep.
You got to give the imagination is emotional and it's perfect. So whatever I don't say in the story but allude to, you'll fill in the blanks perfectly. And so that's why what Shanth was just mentioning right now, if it is completely explained away, then it takes away any chance for the reader to imagine it and have that really fun emotional connection. So in our story, Oath of Blood, we have some things mentioned and we don't fully explain it. We let you fill it in. And I don't know, we were just talking real detailed story stuff like that. But let me find Nosferatu in my pile of JPEGs.
But we come here for the intelligent conversations. We come here for all of the stuff. And your daughter's name is Minnie, right?
Minnie, yes, and that was my grandmother's.
Gabe's daughter Minnie went to a BTS concert.
Oh,
just had to put that. See, I watched the show, guys. Come on, and make sure if you haven't already, like and subscribe, like this stream and subscribe to this channel. But this is the thing, right?
Please.
See, there you go, Mighty Geek Studios, right there. Well said. Thanks, Gabe, for helping bring back martial arts comics. All of us have grown up with whether Hong Kong comics or the great martial arts comics that came out back in the day. That's what it's about.
I know a guy named Mike Kelly. He's an independent comic writer and artist. And I did 2 books for him last year, and I'm starting another one in January. They are sequels to Fist of Fury and Enter the Dragon. He has a license from Bruce Lee's people, and I'm doing the color art for him. He's doing color for some, and then he's doing black and white for other. I'm going to try and get Mike Kelly on here. And he knows Ron Hall. Ron Hall, the guy, he did like blaxploitation martial arts kind of stuff. And I just did a Ron Hall comic, so maybe I could get Ron Hall. I don't know. So the dream here, Shanth, what's going to happen within a year or two? It's going to be me, you, and Van Damme talking, and he's going to be up on the screen with us.
He's going to be in the middle of the screen doing the splits. His legs will be underneath R2 squares. And Paul, thank you so much for backing Nosferatu, brother. I appreciate that, guys. Every single one of you guys are making this book happen and making it all the better. And we've got this is the funny thing about this. Like, we've all been doing work to help along this incredible creative environment that was spearheaded by you boy Zach, Richard C. Meyer and John Malin with Jawbreakers, Lost Souls, and then that evolved into Cyberfrog and all these other books. And I think that Gabe, I know, has done a lot of color work, and he's done a ton of work for CG and with me in the videos. But this is this is what it's about when we're building these channels. It's about what John Malin said was the most important thing for all of us to be doing, which is building platforms so that, what was that Denzel Washington quote where he talked about, when you find yourself and, when you get, reach a certain point, you have the ability as a mentor, not as somebody just giving people fish, but to teach people how to fish and help lift other people up. And the playbook that so many of us are using, whether it's Michael Bancroft or anybody else who's doing work right now, we were talking about this the other night on his stream, closing out Nosfero. Right. This playbook was written by, the first generation of CGers who came in, guys. And we're trying to make sure that we add new things to it, fun conversations, and grow this thing and make it a much bigger place where a lot of, comics in the comic book community has always had a lot of different kinds of people in it. It's a lie that we haven't. That is a total myth that is some new phenomenon. And everybody talks about this.
Yeah,
and
it's nonsense.
We're here to remind people that we actually, comic book people who actually care about comics when they get together, they talk comics, storytelling, and movies. They don't talk politics as a rule. We talk about the things that we love, we're passionate about, but the biggest thing is how much complexity. Look at Gabe's work that he's showing you, talking about breaking story. We care about this stuff. It's a craft, it's a skill, and it's the biggest part of our job.
Yeah, no, I had a Skype meeting with Philippe about Oath of Blood right before this show. We had a 2-hour one on Tuesday. We had about an hour one today. And we're just working out the plot and stuff like that. And again, he's from Disney, and they teach him so much great. He was an animator, but they teach him so much stuff about story there and how characters relate to environment and story and all that. And the stuff he points out to me and the tweaks he does to my script, I told you, we talked for an hour and a half or 2 hours Tuesday. I just said, did you learn this at Disney or what? And he's like, yeah. And he said he also learned it at Gobelin. It's a French animation school that's very elite. They only accept.
Gobelin. Yeah, that one's. It's like the Harvard of visual arts.
No, you would love my buddy Philippe. He's literally one of the greatest artists I've ever met in my life. He was a lead animator on Tarzan, Emperor's New Groove, Treasure Planet, Atlantis, all that stuff. At Disney France, he was 23 and he was one of the leads. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Those guys are amazing.
Yeah, he would, and I'll tell you another thing about Philippe. He's based as fuck. He does not mess around. He doesn't lie. He doesn't bullshit, and he doesn't miss deadlines. Most really good artists are slow. Philippe is like one of 3 artists I know that are fast as hell and really good at the same time. Like I've shown these before. These are sketches. These are just concept sketches for Oath of Blood. We got this pterodactyl robot guy hunting down this alien guy, and it's wild stuff what we're doing with Oath of Blood. Our main character, Toby, these are just sketches he sends me an email. And he's like, Gabe, write the damn epilogue because I want to start pages. He was telling me that yesterday, today. I wrote it last night. We had another meeting today, streamlined it some more, and we got it. We hit a home run today on our Skype meeting. So I'm going to send it after this show. I'm going to finish writing the epilogue, the first 3-4 pages, and send it over to him, and he's going to start drawing pages tomorrow. So you guys are going to start to see Oath of Blood pages, and I'm going to put up the Indiegogo so you can get on the mailing list. When you're on the mailing list, we're going to have it be worth it, like, incentives and not freebies, but the really cool incentives. And I'm going to outdo everyone in CG. I have some amazing ideas that you guys don't even know. I was talking to my daughter about it. She's always helping me. I pay her to help me do all this stuff. And it's going to be interactive and really fun what we're doing with our mailing list.
And everybody, make sure to show your love to Minnie for the great intro to the show too. By the way,
right?
Let's get some ones in the chat.
How about a little girl that can transform into a lizard, right? Or this big guy Mike with his cyborg arms.
Nice.
There. Yeah, he's Michael Warfield, and we got Solene here. Oh my God, it's such a fun book. And Philippe's kicking ass on it.
Here's the funny thing too. Like when you're and don't I want to keep this artwork up. Don't bring up Nosfero because they know you've put it in the chat. People know about this, but I got to tell you, the thing about Nosfero that is the thing that I've been thinking about the most is there's action, there's the gothic, there's a little bit of, funny enough, a period I didn't even watch movies in the 1970s. But for me, the biggest part of it that I got from what I love, some of the European comics and some of the old school comics, is the sexiness, is the beautiful women, is the nightgowns, is all of that stuff that I love that was intertwined with those action movies. And you forget how, I think Malin was joking about it when he was showing the book. He's like going, look at that transparent nightgown. And I go, Yeah, because it's sexiness and it's beautiful, you know, in terms of the female form.
You said not to show. Let me show it. Like we're
Oh, yeah,
like
right.
right there.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? It's the old, it's like Hammer horror movies meets the action movies that Gabe and I grew up with. You know what I mean? And we're having a hell of a lot of fun. You know, we're having a hell of a lot of fun doing it, and it's going to translate onto the page, guys. It's going to translate onto the page.
Yeah. So I think this has been a really good. Oh, let me read the super chat really quick. Max Santiago says, "Start a writing clinic, Gabe. Philippe should teach it." Oh my God! Because I'm just gonna say I'm a good writer. I've won awards, like award-winning writer in college for comedy and all this stuff. But I take my stories to Philippe, and they are good. But he gives them that Disney storytelling touch, and I can't. It's like he takes one little thing and moves it in the story, and it's all new, the story. And I told you this Tuesday night meeting we had, and he was so happy afterward, like, dude, that was so great. And I told you, I've said it 3 times. I'm like, where did you learn that? You know, just the littlest, you'll see when it comes out, it's going to be amazing. So we're going to get the mailing list going for that right before, right after Christmas, probably right after. Let you all travel, let you all have your Christmas and all your stuff and relax. And we're going to hit the ground running in the new year. I've been working on
we are
all day too. I've been working
Remember
on
this too. And
go ahead.
Thank you, people in the chat, for the compliments on the art and for backing the book and the comparison to Castlevania. But I'm telling you this, John Malin is right. 2022 is going to be the biggest year in Comicsgate, and Gabe is going to be a massive part of that. And the launch of this book, when that email list drops, there's got to be a stream to launch that email list. Everybody sign up and let's blow the numbers.
You're going to be there.
You know?
You're going to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be there with bells on, man. You just let me know.
There. Stallone wants everyone to sign up for the mailing list, you know.
This is gonna be fantastic. Like, listen, and so we gotta wrap this stuff up too, but we gotta come up with our closing. And I've decided when we do close, what we've got to do when we close out our streams.
Right.
We got to go side by side when we get up on the stream. We got to put our pictures side by side.
Okay.
And let's see if we can do this. And then we got to go, back to back.
All right.
That's where you go, right? Like in our double impact. Look, there's no universe. I was about to say there's no universe where I'm bigger than you, taller than you.
I moved my camera back because I noticed on all of Ethan's streams I'm like this on it because I don't wear my glasses. Right? I was wearing my glasses on Ethan's stream last night, and someone said I had my granny glasses on, so I don't wear my glasses on the stream too much. So when I go to read something, I lean in and I'm like, everyone's just looking at the top of my head. So I moved the camera back so I wouldn't have such a noggin on there, you know. And
this is Gabe's idea. And when Gabe said to me, we've got to wear
bandanas.
Some bandanas on some, and I like to think of them as bandanas. And we've got these on. And if you're at home, so that's what it's about, guys.
If you're at home and if you've got a tie or a rag, put on your own bandana and join the fun. This is how you do it.
We're one like shy of what we need here. Come on, guys. We're 58 watching. Let's see who else. We got 98. Come on, guys. We got 98 likes.
Oh, I love the way RMDO is talking. Looks like a 6 figures lady campaign. You know it.
Hell yeah.
And it ain't just me. Like, I might be the running back with the ball, me and Philippe. You guys are the linemen. You guys are pushing us down the field. This is, it's a win for me, literally, financially, for my family and creative. It's a win for you guys. You guys can be proud that you support art like this and support people like us who stood up for you. I literally told the people at DC and personally texted Jim Lee and told him, what the fuck are you guys doing? This is bullshit. You're taking truth, justice, and the American way from Superman. I told him that in a personal text for you guys. Because I've been, I'm getting negative here, but I'm just going to rant a little bit. You're going to have to let me have
I'll add one to you.
I'm sick and fucking tired of watching those bastard writers and editors shit on the fans on Twitter and on Facebook and everyone's like, and I told the editor-in-chief, Marie Javins, the boss at DC, I told her, we can't be insulting our fans. Like, what are you doing? We can't be calling them racist and all this stuff. And I told her, I come from a background of football. I played a lot of football. I coached a lot of football. And there's a saying in football, you're either coaching it or you're allowing it. So they might say, well, I didn't tell Tom King to whatever, or Tom Taylor to insult those people, but you let him do it, didn't you? So I don't want to hear this shit that you didn't tell him to. You still let him, and there are no repercussions. So whatever.
And here's,
so, rant over.
Mine.
Let's be happy again.
I want to throw something here because I think this is important to say. I told a room full of college students when I found out that one of my students, and he may be watching and he knows me, he's a comic book artist. He was told that he couldn't, and actually another student, both of them, interestingly enough, one of them had, their best friend or their their boyfriend, in the case of this one young lady. They were in diverse relationships, let's put it that way. But they were told anytime they opened their mouth in college that they were silencing other people of POC, for whatever the term is. And I said to my class, when he told me the stories of the things he went through, I said to my class, because I felt like I was uniquely positioned this my last semester, I said, anybody who tells you that you are not allowed to speak or have a voice because of your race, even if you're white, is evil. That is an evil idea.
Racist shit.
It's racist. I said it's an evil idea. And you need to understand that. That is absolutely twisted. And there was just silence in the room because I was like, I will be damned. I love this country. I love this art form. It's been inspired by so many different people coming together and sharing their stories. That's what we're doing here in Comicsgate, guys. So let's just keep making the noise. Let's make these campaigns jump. Right. Let's throw it against.
We don't have to. We don't have to get all mad and stay mad forever and just be angry at DC and Marvel and all this stuff like that. Like, no, that's a waste of our energy, dude. Let's just do a lot of this. Let's just have a lot of fun and excitement and just like leave those jack-offs in the dust, man. Just leave those.
Resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. It never works. You know, we're not calling that ex-girlfriend up on the phone. Hey, just thinking like we are moving on, guys. We are moving on.
I don't drink or anything, but I was just imagining a scenario where I get drunk and then I like call DC and beg for my job, like a drunk dialing a girlfriend or whatever.
I don't drink. I go on benders of Slim Jims, and it's going to catch up with me, folks.
You're gonna look like a Slim Jim if you don't stop it.
Seriously, yeah. I mean, they said my blood is 80% gravy, so I've got to really.
Not good. I have to.
It's not good, guys. It's not good.
I have to address this comment. My comic book that you see on the screen, Oath of Blood, has a lot of They Live in it, just so you know.
Hell yeah. I have that movie, the Blu-ray, right up there.
I have it too. I bought it just a few months ago. I went to Tom Devlin's Monster Museum in Boulder City, about 40 minutes from Las Vegas. I'm always in Vegas. I'm the unofficial mayor of Las Vegas. It's only a 4 or 5 hour drive from my house. I love Las Vegas. Tom Devlin did a lot of B-movie special effects. And he has a monster museum right by the Hoover Dam, like between Vegas and the Hoover Dam. And it's only like $10 to go in there. And you want to see pure creativity and this, that. It's all handmade Frankenstein and like Alien from the movie Aliens. And he has a big They Live display. I'm going to look that up really quick in my photos if you want to vamp for the audience, Shanth.
Yeah, let me just tell you guys this. They Live has the single greatest line of dialogue of all time. Many of you guys know it. I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubble gum. One of the greatest lines in the world. But fine artist Shepard Fairey basically owes his entire career to stealing from the imagery of that flick. And it's one of those things to where, you work at KFC. If I worked at KFC, I would be the only person fired for embezzlement. He's been embezzling chicken.
My wife and I, we went to
the creature.
Hold on, we went to. Let me back up. We were in we were in Vegas for our Valentine's or our anniversary last year, and this is in Tom Devlin's Monster Museum. So these are all like he makes these out of I don't know plaster or something. Damn it, Gabe! He makes all these, and they're awesome. It's only $10 to go in this museum.
That's awesome.
And he's got his own Frankenstein. Oh, there's my wife laughing.
That's
but I want to show you the They Live stuff. There's one of my favorite. I was heavier there. I have lost weight. You see, that was pandemic, Gabe. That was
That's right.
I was making.
Oh, you got a famous monster shirt on. Nice.
I was making 4 pizzas every Friday night. My wife was making a batch of cookies every other day, and we were going crazy, just eating constantly. So I was about 20 pounds heavier there. So, but yeah, these are all props from like Puppet Master stuff. If you get out to Las Vegas and you want to get off the strip, go to Tom Devlin's Monster Museum. He also has classes where you can make your own monster mask. He teaches you how. But I wanted to show you. Where is it? Oh, I never liked that little guy with the hook hand and the knife. Yuck.
Yeah, that ain't good.
Hold on. I'll find it here.
Killer Clowns.
Toxie. There it is. So those are full size in the museum. And if you haven't seen They Live, you need to check it out. It's about a society where everyone is happy and they're consuming and buying it, but really they're being controlled by aliens and they don't know it. And Rowdy Roddy Piper finds these glasses, and when he puts them on, he can see all the signs that say like obey and consume and work and all this stuff. And it has the greatest 8-minute fight scene with Keith David in an alley.
Keith David
they literally fight for 8 minutes straight in the movie. It doesn't cut away. they're doing because Roddy Piper was a pro wrestler in the 80s, and he's a star of this movie.
Yeah.
He literally suplexes Keith David. There's even a point where the fight is getting so ridiculous. Roddy Piper breaks and starts laughing. He like swings a stick and hits the windshield on a car, and he's like doubles over and laughs for a second and kind of loses his place in the movie.
Keith David is a
They
treasure,
Live.
man.
Everybody check out They Live. It's such a great movie.
Live.
And it speaks to our times about people just being controlled like sheep by the news and media. So
by the way,
was
my shirt, in case anybody hasn't seen it, this is one of my favorite T-shirts. My wife got this for me for the holidays. It says, let's see if you can read it. Hold on. Christmas Party from Nakatomi Plaza, 1988.
Nice.
So I'm being festive, folks. I'm being festive.
Very good. And you did mention mine. I've got my
Famous Monsters of Filmland.
Yeah, my son bought
designed
me that.
by Millicent Patrick.
Right. What a thoughtful guy. My son bought me that.
That's awesome.
Oh, here's a question, Shanth. I'm going to let you go first on this. It's a super chat, so thank you. Who are your main influences, guys? We could go on for hours, but can you nail it down to just a few?
Let's see. Yeah, sure. I would say Frank Frazetta and Tim Vigil. And maybe I definitely got to say Alphonse Mucha. Huge in there.
Okay. For me, is it my favorite or my biggest influences? My biggest influences as an artist are probably Jim Lee, Scott Clark, and Carlos de Anda, because Jim Lee's the one that made me want to draw comics, and I would trace all his work when I was in middle school. Scott Clark, who worked at Wildstorm, he has since passed away a few years ago. Poor guy, rest in peace. I met him when I was a senior in high school. My girlfriend, who's my wife now, told me, that's the guy everyone says draws comics who lives by you. Go up to him. So I went up to him. We were at the basketball court. He was really good at basketball, Scott Clark. He drew Allegra. He drew Stormwatch. I have a Stormwatch drawing of his right there. I have that big, famous 8-foot Wildstorm poster. But I grew up in San Diego. Wildstorm was in San Diego. So I would go to his house, Scott Clark, when I was a senior in high school. And that's when comics really became real to me. Like, oh my God, a real guy does this. And he has a wife, and he has a dog, and he has a Mitsubishi 3000 GT sports car. And
I remember that car. God, we are like in the same ballpark.
And he would give me drawing tips, and he gave me some proof copies of Team 7 comics. And it was just
remember all these things.
Really neat to meet a comic book insider that lived 2 doors down from me. And I was a little socially weird with him because I was just so neat to meet. It was so exciting to meet him that I would stay at his house a little too long and keep talking. And I remember he ordered like takeout or delivery or whatever. His food showed up, and I'm like, oh, that looks good. What are you having? And I didn't get leave. Let the man have his dinner, because I would stay as long as I could until he would tell me I had to go. And, I still have the drawings he did. I was like, how do you draw this? And how do you draw this shoulder? And how do you draw a head from this angle? And he would just draw them for me and tell me all about it, what it was like to be in comics. My other guy, my last one, is Carlos de Anda, another Wildstorm guy. We worked on Batman. We worked on Arkham City. But I met him in 1998 when I was stalking around, and I found out where the Wildstorm office was when I was 20 years old. And I went to the building, and you couldn't go up the elevator because you need a special key or whatever to get in the door.
Yeah.
But I saw a kid come down with an engineering pencil, and he was a young guy. I said, hey, do you work up at the comic book place? He took me upstairs. I met J. Scott Campbell and Adam Hughes and Travis Charest. Editor-in-chief with Scott Dumbier. It was like going in the inner sanctum of my favorite studio. Jim Lee was always my favorite comic artist, and I always wanted to work in a studio since I was 12. So those guys, all Wildstorm, all Jim Lee guys, those are my biggest influences because they literally sat there and taught me how to draw things. Carlos also taught me how to draw things too. So I guess they're my biggest influences. And then my professor in college, Steger Hartger, is my life drawing teacher. So.
Nice.
Oh, here's a comment. Scott's Clark's Stormwatch was amazing. Yeah, man, he was a really good artist, and it's fun. I got to reunite with him before he passed on. He was doing covers for Green Lantern Emerald Warriors, I think, while I was coloring it, like in 2000 and I want to say 12 or 13 or something like that. So we actually had our names on the same book, so that was really fun for me. So
there you go.
Yeah. So okay, so let's see. Hold on, I'm trying to read the comment here. Most of us got the final push in the comics from Rob Liefeld because of his age. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. What was he like, for 18? Me too. Yeah, when the famous Button Your Fly, Levi's, and all that commercial came out with him. Rob Liefeld.
On my channel, when I was 15, I did a TV interview, and I'm wearing a Button Your Fly t-shirt because I was like, I got to look like Rob if I'm going to do an interview about my artwork for the local Tennessee, news station. You know, and it's you were talking about comics. For me, the people like in comics, Todd McFarlane's Hulk 340 and his artwork made me want to be a comic book artist. Tim Vigil definitely, but I went through a massive, and still it's in my influence, Dave Stevens phase. Because Dave Stevens' Rocketeer was huge. Even you can see I got a poster in the background, but I love that stuff, man.
Come on. Sorry, I had a visitor for a second. She's leaving.
You gotta have the visitors. Wow. Hey.
See ya. She's
How we doing, Chief?
Hey guys,
we gotta ask,
you're gonna have to sign up for my mailing list, and you're gonna have to buy 2 copies of Beef Law because I don't know what the hell she's going out to buy right now, but I'm gonna need more money, I'm sure.
We're gonna need more cash, yeah, absolutely. Right. Someone's got to pay for these brushes, these inks.
Right. Someone has to pay for all these women and kids. Let me throw this up here. Okay, Shanth. Well, I feel like we've been going for quite a while, an hour and 40.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was all over the place, but all of it was fun. You know, we weren't like,
it was a great time.
We're gonna do this. I hardly remember half of what we spoke about, but I enjoyed every second of this. The chat is amazing.
The chat is amazing, and I thank everybody. We are at 108 likes, guys. Over 100 likes. Smashed it. Good job, guys.
Right. Okay, so, hey, Shanth.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm going to ask you out on a date like you're a hot chick.
Sure, absolutely.
So, I had a lot of fun with you tonight, Shanth, and, if you're not busy next Wednesday, do you want to do another Double Impact maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. We got to do another one because we both are married and we both have campaigns that need funding. And so we're here to entertain you guys. If you guys want to see it, we'll do it. That's the way it is. Comicsgate for life.
Right. And we don't have to wait for Wednesdays either, Shanth. If you ever want to just do like, if we're both not busy or you're not busy and you want to do something, just hit me up on Twitter and I'll jump on your channel. You jump on mine and let's grow together. Okay. So let's do
guys.
Your sign off that you came up with.
No, exactly. Let's see if we can do it here back to back.
All right. And then we'll turn to the camera and say thanks for watching and then turn and go Double Impact. And then I'll end it.
That's right. Here we go.
All right. You count us down from 3, Shanth.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Thanks for watching.
Double Impact.
All right. That was terrible. Thank you.
It's going to get better every week. Stay tuned.
Yeah.